Most people think the highway is the dangerous part of their drive. The fast roads, the trucks, the merging. But rural road accidents are dangerous in a way that surprises almost everyone. More dangerous than highways, mile for mile, in most of the country. In Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee, it's often the two-lane roads through small towns and farmlands that kill more people than interstates do. Here's the thing nobody tells you. The national traffic fatality rate on rural roads is consistently higher than on urban roads. NHTSA's most recent rural-urban comparison shows about 1.88 deaths per 100 million miles driven in rural areas versus 1.23 in urban areas in 2022, roughly 1.5 times the urban rate, not on interstates. Not on the dangerous highways everybody worries about, on the two-lane roads through communities that you've driven 1,000 times. NHTSA data is consistent on this year after year. Rural roads account for a disproportionate share of traffic deaths despite carrying less total traffic volume than urban roads. The danger is not the speed or the volume. The danger is what happens when something goes wrong. In Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee, a large share of our road network is rural and two-lane. We're not talking about back roads nobody uses. We're talking about Highway 72 in Alabama, Highway 45 in Mississippi, Highway 50 in Tennessee, roads that people use every single day to get to work, to the doctor, and to school. And when a wreck happens on those roads, what comes next makes it significantly worse. When you call 911 after a crash on a major interstate near a city, help arrives relatively quickly. Emergency stations are positioned along major corridors. Resources are close. In rural Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee, that gap opens up fast. NHTS data shows average EMS response times during roughly 9 minutes in a metro area and 14 plus minutes in a rural area, with even longer waits in the most remote stretches of our region. That gap is not just an inconvenience, it's the difference between a serious injury and a fatality. Trauma medicine has a concept called the golden hour. The first 60 minutes after a serious traumatic injury are the most critical for survival and recovery outcomes. Every minute of EMS response time uses up a part of that window. This is not a criticism of rural EMS workers. They do everything they can with limited resources in large coverage areas. It is a structural fact about our region, and it's just one of the main reasons rural accidents carry higher fatality rates than urban accidents. But this response time problem is only the first reason rural roads are more dangerous. Here's the second one. Rural roads in Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee were often designed decades ago for traffic volumes that no longer exist. 2 lanes, no center barrier, no rumble strips on many stretches, shoulders that drop off sharply or disappear entirely. The head-on collision risk on rural 2-lane roads is significantly higher than on divided highways. There's nothing between you and the oncoming traffic except a painted line. When a driver drifts from fatigue or overcorrects after drifting, the result can be a head-on crash at combined speeds of over 100 miles per hour. Then there's deer season. October through December, Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee see major spikes in deer vehicle collisions. State Farm's annual data shows our states each carry meaningful deer collision odds, and it's not hard to see why. Deer are most active at dawn and dusk. Most rural roads have no lighting. When a deer runs into the road and a driver swerves hard, they can end up directly in the path of an oncoming traffic or off the road entirely on a shoulder that doesn't exist. This is documented, it's predictable, and it happens every single fall across our region. If you're in a wreck on a rural road, the rules are the same as anywhere else, but the urgency is higher. Document everything you can while you're still at the scene. Photos of both vehicles, the road conditions, any skid marks, the surrounding area. Get witnesses' names and contact information. Call the police, even if it feels like a minor wreck. In rural areas, response may take time. Wait for them. The police report is a critical piece of your case. Get medical attention. even if you feel okay right after the wreck. Injuries that seem minor at the scene often show up hours or days later. Soft tissue injuries, concussions, internal issues, without medical records close in time to the wreck, insurance companies will argue your injuries came from something else entirely. Rural roads are dangerous. That will not change overnight. But knowing what to do when something goes wrong is the one thing you can control. The next video covers the specific steps to take immediately after a wreck in Mississippi, in order, with no fluff. If you've been in a wreck recently or want to know what to do before it happens to you, watch that next. It covers the window that matters most. I'll see you over there.